Last week, I was fortunate to go to the Billy Joel concert at Madison Square Garden. What a great concert. And somehow, surrounded by 20,000 people that I had never met, I felt like I was a part of a community of people lifting up the goodness of the world. I loved watching a security guard nearby. He was often stoic, very, very stoic as he was looking up at the audience and not towards Billy. But as the show began, pretty soon his toes started tapping, and then once in a while his fingers would be tapping, and then all of a sudden at the end of the song he'd go kapoom along with the drums. And by the encore he was swaying and singing with the best of them. Music, and especially the beat of the drum, has a way of connecting us and getting us out of our heads and into our bodies. It seems like our society today is like 90% cerebral. We think about everything, we process and we read and we deliberate and we consider. While the rest of our bodies are filled with stress and anxiety and tension. The music and the drums especially help us to move from our heads to our bodies. You know, drumming is a universal form of music. From timpanis to bongos, drums can be found in almost every culture across the globe. They give us the ability to relax. They energize us. They soothe our soul and enable us to heal. The beat, the rhythm, and the drumming has a way to connect us. It is the rhythm of who we are and what we do. I mean, when you think about it, in the womb, we listen to the drumming of our mother's heartbeat and the rhythm of her breath. And these sounds have proven to have healing powers. I mean, rhythm has a certain spirit to it. It is that which is unseen but felt, an underlying force in life, a power that moves us. When we hear the beat of the drum, we can't help but move. And it's that movement and that spirit that is alive in the Gospel of John. In this passage, John the Baptist is with a few of his disciples when he sees Jesus coming toward them. And immediately, John points to Jesus, saying, he's the one, the Lamb of God. He points to Jesus as the underlying force in life, as the power that moves us. The next day, the same thing happens. And again, John points to Jesus and says, he's the one, the Lamb of God. And so John's friends, they begin to follow Jesus. They want to know, who is this man? What is this power? What is this spirit, this underlying force that connects all of life and seems to speak to them? Then Jesus turns around and asks them, what are you looking for? Now, if you go back to the original Greek, the question could have been translated, what are you seeking? Or what do you need? On the surface, we could answer, I need a vacation. Or I would love a bigger closet, or perhaps a new pair of sneakers. But Jesus' question is asking for a bit more than that. His question takes a moment of introspection, for it is a question of the heart. What is your heart seeking? And it's a good question for us to all pause and to consider. What is it that I am truly looking for? What does my heart seek? And as I thought about it, I think many of us want a place to belong, to be known, to be valued, to be a part of a community. We long for a sense of connection. Well, the men with Jesus don't really answer his question. Instead, they ask a question of their own, and they ask, Rabbi, where are you staying? Now, on the surface, this might appear to be a bit disjointed. However, when you consider that rabbi means teacher, the disciples want to learn from Jesus. They want to know, that is, where they can go and be with Jesus and learn from him. And that question leads to Jesus' invitation. Jesus doesn't just answer them and tell them exactly where he's staying. Instead, he says, come and see. Now, invitations are inherently relational. And when we extend an invitation, we are extending an opportunity to connect. And it brings me back to the drum and the rhythm and the beat. Different rhythms have a way of embracing a community. Last April, I went to my nephew's wedding. And after the ceremony and the food and the toasts and the drinks, we ended up on the dance floor. There's a certain freedom to just allow your body to move to the beat of the music. And I was there with my husband and my children and my siblings and my nieces and nephews, and my 86-year-old mom was out moving and grooving to the music, along with all kinds of people I had never met before. But we were celebrating love and life and laughter and allowing the rhythm and the beat to bring us together. And we were a community that evening. It's when we don't feel a part of that community is when it's so hard. Standing on the outside looking in is difficult. Being left out or excluded can be heart-wrenching. And that's why it's such a beautiful thing that Jesus doesn't just tell them. Rather, he invites them. He invites them to come and see. He extends an invitation to the disciples. He doesn't dictate. Rather, he invites them to learn and experience his teachings. His invitation is simple. Come and see. It's non-threatening, it's clear, and it's inherently relational. And Jesus continues to invite each and every one of us to be a part of God's community, to know that we belong and that we are valued, for it is the Spirit, that beat, that flows through us and connects us one to another and connects us to our great and generous God. So, my friends, keep moving. Allow the beat to beat in your heart and your spirit, and allow that Spirit of God to connect and empower you to go forward. Blessings.